Saturday night, UFC Fight Island is now gone. We pick things up with Alexander Gustafsson making his heavyweight debut against former champ Fabricio Verdum. And this is a different Fabricio Verdum, apparently, because the guy who fought Alexei Oleinik, he didn't show up. We saw an old Fabricio who submitted the Mauler in his heavyweight debut. Way to spoil the party. Mike and I were talking before we did this video, and we were saying, bet the house on Gus, man. This dude, if he was cleaning up at 205, for the most part he was. And now you don't have a whole lot of great strikers at heavyweight, especially not at the back end. I think he can go in there. He's got some very clean boxing and probably, tear things apart. But he got submitted. Mike, what the hell happened?
Honestly, I was so shocked. I'm watching with my friends, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, wait. He got taken down, and then he got up, and he started doing the classic Gustafsson, like where he turns his back and runs away, and he got caught. And the second Verdum wrapped that hand around his waist and pulled him back, the commentators even said it immediately. Like, he's in trouble. And we expected Gustafsson to look a little bit better against a guy who was on his final fight in the UFC. Is he retired? Maybe not. Maybe he'll go to a different promotion, but that's his last fight in the UFC, at least to the best of our knowledge as of recording this. Now, I was stunned, absolutely stunned by what we had seen. Verdum, again, like you harped on it, he did not look like his typical self against Oleinik after that long hiatus from, the suspension. And he came in and he looked trim. He looked ready to fight, and he took advantage of a Gustafsson who looked like he was still trying to make adjustments to carrying more weight.
Yeah, I thought initially, the very first thing that I thought, as soon as the striking exchanges, well, actually, it was even before that, when Joe Martinez, I think, was announcing them, I was like, Gus, he looks good, but Fabricio looks good too. Like last time that I saw him in the octagon, he looked a lot chunkier, right? And then he got lit up by Alexei Oleinik, and we're like, oh, well, if you're getting lit up by Alexei Oleinik, what are we doing here? Obviously, this dude's fallen so far off the hill that he's just going to get eaten alive by Alex the Mauler. But what I thought was, he actually doesn't look that great. Like Gus, I know they were saying, oh, he looked good in the early parts of the fight. And okay, to be fair, he did for the first, minute. But I didn't think his hands looked as quick as they would have needed to look for him to be a success at heavyweight. And I'm not saying that he can't still, because obviously, if you go to the ground with Fabricio, there are a few better, right? It's not uncommon for you to get submitted there, and we won't hold that against him. I was more concerned with his hand speed. I thought Stipe Francis obviously looked a lot faster, and if he's going to be one of those top guys, and obviously I think that's why he's coming back, because he thinks he can compete with them, I don't think his hands were fast enough, because otherwise, if they were, I think he could have probably stunned Fabricio and kept him a little bit farther. Fabricio's like 10 years older than him, right? There's no reason why Fabricio should be able to hang with an excellent boxer like that and then take him down fine. I don't think that that Gus will have a huge problem with people wanting to take him down, in that division, with the exception of Curtis Blades. DC's going to retire. Stipe relies mostly on boxing. Like, there aren't a whole lot of big wrestlers who can dictate where the fight takes place. But I thought, if Gus is going to fight and compete at this division, even if we say, okay, this loss omitted, because realistically, if he's sticking around and Fabricio's not, he's going to just keep fighting upwards. His hands got to be faster, because, if he's going to get caught by someone who's really explosive at heavyweight, which there are no shortage of guys who are, he's got to, I don't know if he looked fast enough, man.
Well, who would you even want to see Gustafsson go and fight next? I think you give him another veteran, someone for him to try to re-ingratiate himself and see if he can get his feet under him, quite literally. I'd say someone like an Andrei Arlovsky would be an option, as somebody who's going to stand up, strike, a little bit more of a veteran, and see what just happens there. If he can't take out an Andrei Arlovsky, and not saying that Arlovsky is what he was before, but he also isn't a scrub. But at the same time, Gustafsson, he has his work cut out for him in this heavyweight division from a striking standpoint. Like you said, guys are going to be fast. Guys are going to be dynamic. You got Cyril Gahn as well. These are some real guys that are coming up in that division who are going to cause a bunch of fits for somebody who likes to favor striking. It's a little bit different when you're in 205 and you might have a size advantage over guys, whereas guys are coming in, they might be 20 pounds heavier than you and ready to strike and the poking and prodding with jabs can only go so far to a certain extent against certain quality of opponents like a Francis and a few other people that you already just mentioned.
Yeah, there's no shortage of contenders at heavyweight that we could see him fight. You know, he could easily. Andrei Arlovsky's a great one. Alistair Overeem's another one, right? Walt Harris. You know what I mean? Like, there's a ton of guys who aren't necessarily still at their peak or at the top of the division who he could, you know, make a run against. But once he starts facing even someone like Derek Lewis, who's going to swing bombs, who's inexplicably explosive and very, very fast for somebody his size, you know, I got to think, okay, listen, Gus, if you're going to compete at heavyweight, brother, you know, we got to see a Gus of old, and Gus of old doesn't get submitted like that quickly.
100%.
But that's it, right? That's it for this clip. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Is Gustafsson a real contender at heavyweight, or should he go back into a 5? Should he have stayed retired? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below.